it didn't charge very good last night, and I'm feeling a little bit too lazy to hook the wire up, but that's what I need to do. I guess I could turn the power on. Give me 1 second here. Um, so basically, things have been going interestingly well with my medical situation. So what I did, try to get this charger powered up. I don't know. I've got a couple different ways to turn the power on this boat. It's still kind of new to me. Haven't used it enough to get everything set up the way that I want. Let's see if we have power. Looks like we do. All right. Well, it'll give me a little bit more runtime. All right. So basically, this is a 26-foot Sea Swirl. It's a 260 sedan, so it is actually not what they actually call the striper. This is the year before, I believe, before the striper came out. And the striper has a little bit better design on the hull, from what I understand. But, you know, I looked for 2 years. I lived here on the water and finally got a boathouse put up, and I needed a boat, so this is what I ended up with. But it's actually not a bad boat overall. I don't like the way that it's balanced, and it does okay in chop, but not as good as I would like. But I've got it set up, you know, with some pretty nice features. I've got side scan, I've got radar, 4G radar from Lowrance. I've got a Boat-Eye 360 night vision camera, which is mounted up on the roof. I have a display screen for it. I haven't mounted yet, so that's one of the things I need to do. And I'd like to do a more modern radio that integrates with the digital features, and I can feed that information into the Lowrance and put on the, I guess, the AIS or whatever it's called. But the boat has a fridge. It's kind of an interesting situation. When I bought this boat, it had this fridge. It had a roof mount 110 volt air conditioner with a 5,000 watt inverter, which was mounted down in here with an extra battery. And I did the math on it, and there was just no way that that air conditioner was going to run on that battery that was in there. It's just a regular lead acid battery. It's an AGM though, but still basically a lead acid. And it's certainly the current, I mean, with the stock alternator on this being about 60 amps, there was just no way it was going to be able to do it. And the owner told me, no, it works amazing. It freezes you out, and it runs as long as you're out. And of course, you know, Pilot House, 13,000, 14,000 BTU air conditioner is not going to do very well out in the open sun. And he lied, because it could not sustain it. You get about 10 or 15 minutes and the battery was already starting to suffer. The alternator wasn't putting out enough power to top off the charge. But so anyway, what I did is I put in a 12 volt air conditioning system from Mabru, and it was super expensive, but that 12 volt system is about 12,000 BTU, and it runs on 12 volts. I mean, I can literally flip this on and it's up and running right off the 12 volt system. I've also got a 425 watt solar panel on the roof, got a Renogy charger, and it will not obviously run the air conditioner with a single, but this AC pulls about 45 to 47 amps at full tilt when it really needs to be cooling. And if you do the math on it, I've got a second 400 watt solar panel that I can put on the back, and I can actually run in direct sun off of the solar and even put a little bit of charge in the batteries. And then for batteries, I'm going to have at least two, and this is a real mess down here, but I've got these Power Urus. I'm going to have at least two of those going. And so basically 400 amp hours, you're pulling 45 amps at full tilt. So once the boat cools down, say you're overnighting, then it's going to start cycling, and then it starts pulling significantly less amp hours, you know, per hour, the number of amps that are being used continuously. Wow, so the storms, you know, blowing into Mississippi and Alabama right now, some tornadoes. I hope you guys are safe wherever you're at. How's it going, Froggy and K-Bro and Sis? Anyway, it's blowing pretty good. We're here on the lift and we're rocking and rolling. But I just wanted to come out and look at this, which is a new 110 volt circuit breaker that I got. It's a Blue Sea is super nice. I'm really impressed with the quality of this. Came with stickers that you can put on. Yeah, I've even got one blank that I can use my fiber laser and make my own, but we'll see if that comes down to it. For now, I just put air conditioner. So I don't have a 110 volt air conditioner, so I don't need a 110 volt breaker for it. But what I do have is a shore power charger. Let's see if I can figure out how to open this up again. And that's a Power Max. This model is a PM4-75LK, so it will put out 75 amps. So if you do the math, I need 47 amps max on the air conditioner. Everything beyond that off of the lithium battery, and it is not a lithium ion, it's a lithium polymer, so it's a LiFePO 4. It's not an explosion or fire risk. But this bad boy will sustain the air conditioner and charge the batteries and run anything else on the 12 volts that I need when I'm on shore power. And then when I'm underway, I've got a 90 or so amp alternator that goes through a DC to DC charger that is lithium poly compatible. So when the engine is running, I have whatever the engine takes coming out of it, figure 85 amps minus 10 amps to run the engine, 10 amps to run the other. So I've got, 65 amps, which is enough to run the air conditioner and feed another 15 to 20 amps to the battery. Somebody's looking at the water. Anyway, I've got this is not the current generation, the one before, because I'm cheap and I got this for a much better deal, which works with radar and side scan and all those good things. But this is this is a Gen 2, and they talk, but this doesn't really do very well with the data from this. So I'm going to get a bigger screen. There's just not enough room to put two of these here. And I've got to mount my night vision monitor, which is somewhere. I'm not even sure where it's at right now. But I think we're going to probably put it right in this area here. And then I've got to mount the thermostat for the air conditioning system somewhere in, actually going through, maybe even over here. So I took the inverter off, and I'm going to mount this right here, I believe. This alcohol stove comes down quite a ways, and I have to make sure it's well clear. But what's nice about putting it here is the connector is going to be right over here, so short run for a maximum 30 amp wire, probably a number 10. But actually, this boat will not use more than about 24 amps with everything going. Unless maybe I plugged a coffee maker in. So I'm going to go ahead and run a 30 amp because I've got a 30 amp connector and a 30 amp shore power cord, and that's what the Marina will give you. And so it'll all come to this, and then, air conditioner or the charger for the air conditioner is right there. The refrigerator, and then I'll put an outlet right over here, and I'll probably sneak one in the cabin area, just because if we ever use it, and stay at the island or something, I can feed the inverter to that outlet or whatever. But anyway, all right. So thank you guys for stopping by. I wanted to mention that I've actually been feeling quite good. Not amazing, but it is amazing compared to the way that I spent the entire second half of 2024 feeling. So what did I do different? We were on a trip down south, and we were in Miami Beach, and we went down. We were staying in Boca, went down to Miami Beach, went across to Sarasota, Fort Myers, St. Pete, and we were just checking out the restaurants, which I actually wasn't doing nearly as much as we do on that trip for the last couple of years, because I'm trying to avoid seed oils. I'm trying to stay, as much as I can, but knowing that the restaurants use seed oils, therefore limiting the type of food I was buying to mostly things that didn't. But, we were doing Mexican or whatever, and on this trip we really cheated bad. I mean, we found some of the best Mexican places, a Cuban place down there in Miami Beach, and just all kinds of good, and we wanted to go try it. And I was just feeling worse and worse, and I said, I just feel like it's probably because, I know it's because of how we've been eating, but I was eliminating coffee, I was eliminating tea, just all types of groups. And I said, I was feeling so bad on this trip, and I said, when I get back, I am going to eat at home, period. Well, of course, coming from 80% restaurant food to making everything at home and a limited menu at that, I did go to a few restaurants. I went to two in 1 week on the first week we got back, one on the second week, and then I didn't go for several weeks. And then we had a meeting with somebody at a restaurant. So I had a burger, but without the bun, just the meat and some sweet potatoes with butter on. And I flared so bad. I don't know what was in that burger. Um, Maybe the sweet potatoes were cooked in seed oil, but I was flaring pretty bad. Um, and then I had a slice of pizza last Sunday, but it's a good quality pizza, and they use straight olive oil. They don't use any seed oils, and I only ate a little bit of the bread, which really sucked because it was so good. And it didn't really seem to bother me. I had a little bit of finger flare, but the way I can tell now, if I'm having a real flare, it's my upper half of my spine. It becomes very inflamed, very painful. I can get out of bed in the morning and sit on the couch and just be in immense pain, the whole upper half of my spine. Um, so we're at March, whatever it is now, 14th-ish. And like I said, I had that little pizza slice on Sunday, but I haven't been to any restaurants for any other reason in many, many weeks. And I feel like a different person already. And if, let's say, it's seed oils that are causing these problems, then it takes over a year for seed oils to flush out of your system. So what I'm wondering is, it's been too long now to be a fluke. You wouldn't believe the things I've been doing. Uh, and I'm not perfect. Let me say that there. I have bad days. I hurt frequently. But it's been mostly like my lower disc that's bad now. And sometimes the middle of my back will bother me a little bit. But overall, it's been phenomenal. So not carnivore, not even really keto, but for example, we really love Thai. So we figured out a good recipe for garlic chicken, which includes fried rice. So we put avocado oil in, we fry up some rice. It's very lightly fried, but I don't care. It's rice. It's already a violation of keto. So it's not because I'm doing keto or I'm doing carnivore or even ketovore. It's mainly that I'm avoiding the bad oils of obviously getting less sugar in my meals at home. But I'm not even avoiding that. Every morning I have some the Ezekiel bread, that's like it's got grains, but it's very pure grains. It doesn't have any bad oils or whatever. But I'll have like a little piece of toast with some jelly on it, some jam, and good quality. They're not like Publix crap that they sell, but really good quality jam. But it has some cane sugar in it. Like I said, I have a little flare in my fingers. It's not enough to even stop me from doing anything. I get up and I can get things done. We about 200 square feet of rubber mulch, dug it all out because the people that put it in didn't put weed barrier, so it was sinking down in the dirt. We spent 2 or 3 days. I built a big frame on my tractor with some stucco lathe, the mesh, the metal mesh, and we would put shovelfuls of it on there and just spray it out and like spread it, spread it, get all the dirt off of it, shovel it back into to wherever, and then get it back. We put down the liner. I even put down a border, which is a big job. Tilled everything, put the border in, nailed down the weed barrier, and we went out there and put the stuff back in. We did use a tractor, so it wasn't 100% labor. Tractor brought the heavy loads over and dumped it. But I couldn't dream of doing something like that 2 months ago, a month ago even probably, but definitely not 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months ago. It was impossible. So the moral of the story, and the reason I'm uploading the video, there's a few people that are following me because I was on the carnivore diet, which, by the way, I stand behind, and I feel like that it would greatly accelerate my recovery and the way I feel. But it's not as enjoyable, and I'm willing to trade a longer recovery for now for being able to enjoy it and have some toast and jam, even though it is, an expensive, not real bread, but it's a real bread. It's better than any of those keto breads that taste like burning human skin. Um, but anyway, yeah, if you've tried everything out there, but you're a normal person and you have a life, which you most likely, if you're watching this and you're sitting there and you've got whatever, you probably have a life. And if you're hurting and you're looking for answers, you've probably tried a lot of things. But I'm just going to tell you, the biggest mistake that I seem to have made in every attempt to my dieting was allowing cheat days, allowing the old normal, of going to my favorite restaurant, having a meal. And like I said, picking it carefully, even sometimes, usually, but not all the time. There were, hey, let's get some Mexican. I want some damn, chips and salsa. What do we do for Mexican now? We have Mexican that's better than anything that you've had since the 1987 era of Taco Bell, when they fried everything in real lard with non-GMO corn products. And that is, we bought beef tallow. We bought masa harina from Mexico, as in no non-GMO, because they don't allow GMO corn there. And it's simple. You just make this corn flour, throw it in the fridge, wait a few hours, and then you get a tortilla press. You press it out. You heat up your tallow to 375. You cook the tortilla on a frying pan with no oil. Just throw it on there and you cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes. Straight into the fryer after you cut it into pie cut it. And you have real, chips like they would do in anywhere in Central America, South America, and just traditional corn fried up, whatever. And it is so much better. There's so much flavor. It's such an enjoyable meal. It's amazing. So we do that. We make some meat. We get some Mexican mixed cheese, some sour cream, cut up some jalapenos, and whatever else you want on there. Make a nice, just like a supreme nachos with meat and all that stuff on it. It's phenomenal. Keto, absolutely not. Enjoyable, yes, very enjoyable. Um, what we do is basically limit the amount of time or the number of times that we do that meal. But that's our cheat meal now, is the point. So if you are suffering and you've been through all these diets, you found it impossible to maintain the diet without these cheat meals. Very simple formula that I will stand behind 100% and tell you, forget the restaurants. And I'm sorry, restaurants. I know that many people, especially smaller local restaurants, I love them, Many people, their entire life is, devoted to making that a success. And supplies are expensive, I get it. But you're poisoning people with these seed oils, with this vegetable oil and mazolas and whatever soy oil that y'all are using. And it's making everybody sick. So, when restaurants like Steak and Shake's going in the right direction and they went to tallow, their fries are apparently, I guess, blanched in some sort of vegetable oil still from the manufacturer. But full frying is, so I'm not going to take a chance until it's completely tallow based. But when restaurants do that, I will absolutely patronize them. However, I will say, without revealing, I'm going to give you real numbers. I'm a successful person. I make money. I won't say the amount of my credit cards. What I do is I buy pretty much everything on my credit card because it's a cashback card. But now that's almost gotten to be pointless because all the places are charging the fee. But before they did that crap, before the whole COVID thing, I got my cash back and I buy a lot of Amazon purchases using my reward points. But now it's just my money minus about 2%. But anyway, every month I buy everything on my credit card and I pay the balance every month. The reason is that I can go back and figure out where I was, what I was doing, where I bought something. It's all on my card. The last bill I paid had 0 restaurants on it, and it was in the area of, depending on the month, between 30 and 50% less than the normal balance is at the end of the month. So it was significant because I'm using that same card to go to the grocery store. So it seems expensive when you go to the grocery store and buy things. And it's certainly expensive on the time you spend because it eats up a lot more of your time. But it's good for couple. It's good couple time, you know. You can cook together, and you know it's a good team effort, and it's very enjoyable. The end result um, when we make these special meals and stuff. But the point being, um, even with buying top shelf grocery items, organic, this and that, you know, I don't buy anything that has anything in it. If it's got cane, HFCS, if it's got nitrates, if it is non-organic, I will not buy it. Occasionally, I will buy regular chicken, depending on the brand and what we're going to do with it. But and I will buy regular meat because it's just not super practical, and I don't really like grass-fed meat that much. Texture of it is just not enjoyable. So I'm not even perfect there. But the point is, if it's a liquid product, whatever, it's clean and clear, or I don't buy it. And if it's any additives, when I make cookies, which I actually made cookies this week. What did I do? Well, I've done the stevia-based cookies. And what I find the difference in stevia, monk fruit, these other sugars, these sugar alcohols, is that they can be sweet, but they're very cold sweet, where real sugar is very warm. And when you eat a cookie that has real sugar in it, and you have one that eats stevia sweetened, it literally feels like it's 30 degrees colder because there's no warmth, there's no life to it. Well, guess what? If I'm the cook, I can control what's in that cookie. So I can decide, you know what? I want a little bit of sugar in there. Not 100%, but maybe like these cookies, I did 50-50. So I did cut the sugar in half, put real sugar in for half of what they recommended, and put stevia in for the rest. Cookies are great. And, you know, I did the math on it, they were like 5 grams per cookie of real sugar. So there are ways around, you know, can't get behind the excuse of, well, I don't like diet, this and that. Well, if you're making it, you can't really trust a lot of the keto products in the store. You know, they have maltodextrin, dextrose, it's not maltodextrin, it's similar to that, but I always say maltodextrin, but it's slightly different. But there's a whole bunch of sugars by a different name, you know. But anyway, that's my story right now. It's amazing. It's amazing how much better things are. And I know they could be better if I went even more on a diet, but I'm picking my poison here. I'm getting myself where I'm able to function, but I can still enjoy. And then maybe over time I will gravitate towards, you know, full keto or full carnivore or something in between. But I think a lot of people, they make the mistake of throwing those cheat meals in. Of course, you know, it's like an addiction to that food. You go and you stop McDonald's, you know, you get your fries and all that. And then it's like in the back of your mind, you think, man, that was maybe not even that great, but for some reason it's like you want it again. I won't say they're necessarily great. Anyway, that's what's going on here. So we're waiting the nasty weather to go away. And I thought, well, before it gets here, I'll come out here and look at this and figure out, like I said, I took the inverter off of there. So I'll probably try to use these 2 holes right here as a starting point. Get the cutout. It's not too high because it may be. And get my fuse panel installed, and hopefully I've got my dock power too. I'm waiting on the wire, but I've got the mount out here and the plug for the regular Marina power connector. So I'm going to have to run conduit from the breaker box, which I actually realized that we already put the circuit in. So it's already got the breaker in place for the boat. So literally all I've got to do is wait for the wire to get here and run it up and over the boat to this other pole over here. And what's going to be nice with that is I'm going to put a peg over here so it's looped. And, you know, normally when I go somewhere, I will not need the cord with me. It would only be if I was going to go overnight at a marina. So I'm just going to unplug it from the boat and hang it right there. And then if we go somewhere, I can just unplug it from the pole and throw it in the boat. But in any case, it'll already be coiled up, which will make it super easy to transport in the boat when I need to. And I fixed the fridge, by the way. He said it worked great. It didn't. It really didn't cool. So I suspected that it had a bad fan. Well, it has two fans in the back, and they were both completely shattered. So I replaced those fans, got it back in here. It's working great. And this works. The sink was working. I don't know right now. I don't have any water in the tank anyway, but it has a pressure system in it. It doesn't have hot water yet, but that may come one day. And it's just a matter of getting this night vision screen mounted. And like I said, relocating the thermostat for the air conditioning system. And we will be set. This thing will be mostly together. I got these wires, these are all outside wires that the previous owner ran. And what they did is they have this piece from like vinyl siding, and they had all the wires ran in that, and then it flips down and around, and then you put Velcro, and it trims out really nice. So I'm just going to keep their system. And then these other wires were ones that I ran over here temporarily to test the night vision system and all the way. So I've got to do some work on another hole over here, get those all ran inside and behind. But you know, when you hurt all the time, you just don't feel like doing things. So that's why, you know, for almost a year now, it's pretty much been not getting done. But now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm actually here getting some things done. Just in time for boating season. So, all right, everybody stay safe in the weather if you're in the path of it tonight. Talk to you later.